Snow hammered the town so hard the streets looked erased. Every rooftop was buried under white, every glowing Christmas decoration flickered through sheets of ice, and Ethan's ancient pickup rattled down the driveway sounding like a dying lawnmower fighting for its last breath. The second he stepped out of the truck, freezing wind slapped grease-stained hair across his forehead. He looked down at his boots covered in slush and sighed at the glowing mansion in front of him. "Perfect," he muttered. "Nothing says Merry Christmas like emotional damage in a luxury home." Inside, the house smelled like cinnamon candles, roasted turkey, and expensive perfume. Crystal lights glittered across the massive dining room while soft jazz played through hidden speakers. The entire family turned the moment Ethan walked in carrying a toolbox and a grocery store pie that had slid sideways during the drive. His younger sister spotted him first. "Well," she announced loudly, lifting a wine glass, "the family disappointment survived another year." A few relatives laughed nervously. Ethan calmly held up the crushed pie box. "Good news. The pie only died on one side." Vanessa looked flawless in a tight emerald dress that probably cost more than Ethan's monthly rent. Beside her sat Damien Frost, her CO boyfriend, wearing a black turtleneck and the expression of a man who never touched his own garbage can. Vanessa kissed Damien's cheek dramatically. "Honey, this is my older brother. Divorced mechanic. Lives above his garage. Emotionally available to absolutely nobody." Damien chuckled politely. "Nice to meet you." Ethan nodded. "You too. Congratulations on surviving 3 months with her. That's usually where people start drinking heavily." Grandma Ruth nearly choked on her wine laughing. "Oh, I like him better already," she wheezed. Vanessa rolled her eyes. "Still using sarcasm as a personality, Ethan? Still using rich men as LinkedIn upgrades?" A loud cough exploded from somewhere down the table as one uncle tried hiding his laughter behind mashed potatoes. Vanessa's smile tightened. "You know," she continued sweetly, "Damien owns 3 tech companies. Meanwhile, Ethan still spends Christmas smelling like gasoline." Ethan sniffed his jacket. "Premium gasoline. I have standards." Grandma Ruth pointed a wrinkled finger at Damien. "You rich?" Damien blinked. Reasonably successful." "Then why are you so skinny?" "Rich people used to look fed." Ethan covered his mouth, trying not to laugh while Vanessa groaned into her wine glass. As Ethan removed his coat, a small streak of motor oil brushed against Vanessa's cream-colored designer rug. Her face went pale with horror. "Oh my God!" Ethan looked down. "Relax. Adds character. That rug cost $4,000. Then it should survive a little hardship." Damien laughed harder this time before quickly stopping when Vanessa glared at him. That was when Ethan heard it. A faint metallic clicking sound echoed from outside through the walls. He tilted his head slightly. Damien noticed immediately. "What?" "Your car." "What about it?" "The ignition timing sounds wrong." Vanessa scoffed instantly. "Please don't start pretending you understand luxury vehicles." Ethan ignored her. "Black imported coupe outside?" Damien slowly nodded. "Hybrid engine conversion?" Another nod. Ethan frowned. "Fuel regulators struggling in the cold. Something's freezing the startup cycle." Damien stared at him carefully now. "You can tell that from inside the house?" Ethan shrugged. "Cars talk." Vanessa laughed loudly. "Oh good, now he's hallucinating." Before Ethan could answer, the front door opened again. A woman stepped inside wearing a silver winter coat dusted with snowflakes. Her dark hair shimmered under the chandelier light, and strange silver jewelry glowed faintly near her throat. Every electronic decoration in the room flickered once as she entered. Ethan noticed immediately. So did she. Her eyes locked onto him with unusual curiosity. Vanessa stood quickly. "Finally! Damien, this is Lyria, the consultant I told you about." Lyria smiled politely at everyone before looking directly at Ethan again. "And you must be the mechanic." Her voice carried a strange smooth accent Ethan couldn't place. "That obvious?" he asked. You observe machines before people, she replied softly. Very few humans do that naturally. Vanessa interrupted quickly. Trust me, Ethan notices engines because women stopped returning his calls years ago. Ethan smirked. Not true. Debt collectors still call regularly. Grandma Ruth slapped the table, laughing again. Lyria, however, kept watching Ethan with growing interest. Then suddenly, from outside, the loud electronic chirp of Damien's luxury sports car echoed through the snowy driveway. The engine attempted to start. A horrible grinding noise followed. Then complete silence. A robotic female voice announced from outside. Critical ignition failure. Please cry quietly and contact your dealership. The entire dinner table froze. Ethan slowly smiled. Told you, he said. Vanessa burst out laughing first. Oh, this is priceless, she said, shaking her head. Damien, please don't tell me your $600,000 prototype just died in my parents' driveway. Damien already had his phone out. I'll call roadside assistance. In this weather? Ethan grabbed another dinner roll from the table. They'll get here sometime before Easter. Vanessa crossed her arms. Please don't touch the car, Ethan. This isn't one of your rusty garage disasters. Ethan took a bite of turkey, completely unbothered. A machine's a machine. Actually, Damien added carefully, this vehicle is highly specialized. That's rich people language for expensive and fragile, Ethan replied. Grandma Ruth pointed her fork toward the window. Go fix the space car, gasoline boy. The family slowly gathered near the giant front windows while snow blasted sideways across the driveway outside. Christmas lights reflected across the sleek black sports coupe sitting silently under the storm. The car suddenly spoke again through its external speakers. Warning! Internal systems experiencing emotional distress. Ethan stopped walking. Did your car just develop anxiety? Damien rubbed his forehead. The voice assistant is still experimental. Clearly. Vanessa smirked as Ethan knelt beside the vehicle. This should be entertaining. Ethan ignored her completely. He opened the hood, and steam rolled upward into the freezing air. The engine inside barely looked human-made anymore. Smooth silver components pulsed with dim blue light beneath layers of advanced circuitry. Most people would have stared in confusion. Ethan frowned for about 3 seconds. Huh. Damien blinked. You understand what you're looking at? No clue what half this glowing nonsense is, Ethan admitted. But whoever installed the fuel regulator routed coolant lines like an idiot. Lyria stepped closer instantly, eyes narrowing with fascination. You noticed that immediately? Lady, I've repaired tractors held together with zip ties and prayer. Bad engineering screams loud. Vanessa folded her arms tighter. Damien's engineers are literally world-class experts. Then world-class experts should know frozen regulators crack startup timing. Ethan reached into his jacket pocket, pulled out a screwdriver, then paused. Anybody got a butter knife? The entire family stared. You're joking, Vanessa said. Nope. Grandma Ruth immediately handed him one from the dining table. Don't stab anybody important. No promises. Lyria covered her smile, while Ethan leaned deeper into the engine compartment. His hands moved quickly, confidently, like a pianist who'd spent years memorizing metal instead of music. Damien watched in disbelief. You've worked on hybrid systems before? Not officially. What does that mean? It means rich people throw away amazing tech when one blinking light scares them. The car suddenly beeped again. Unauthorized touching detected. Please seek consent. Ethan stared at the dashboard. I'm arguing with a car. My divorce suddenly feels less embarrassing. Even Damien laughed hard at that. Within minutes, Ethan disconnected a frozen regulator line, rewired part of the ignition module using a spare connector from his own truck, then smacked one glowing silver component lightly with the butter knife. The engine instantly hummed alive. Blue lights surged smoothly beneath the hood. The sports car purred like a sleeping tiger waking up happy. Everyone inside the house gasped. The robotic voice returned calmly. System restored. I have seen God. Grandma Ruth nearly collapsed laughing. Vanessa's jaw tightened so hard it looked painful. Damien slowly walked toward Ethan through the snow. That should have taken a specialized team several hours. Ethan wiped grease on his jeans. Yeah, well, your car's dramatic. No, Lyria said softly from behind them. He's extraordinary. Ethan glanced at her strangely. The silver necklace around her throat pulsed faintly again near the engine. Damien's expression shifted from amusement to genuine shock as he stared under the hood. That modification, he whispered. There's no way. What? Damien looked directly at Ethan now. My company has spent 2 years searching for the mechanic who repaired one of our discarded prototype systems in Chicago. Ethan blinked. Wait, that exploding silver junk pile behind a scrapyard? Damien pointed at the engine. You rebuilt classified technology using farming equipment. Ethan shrugged. To be fair, the farming equipment was excellent. Lyria stared at Ethan with open admiration now, almost fascinated beyond normal attraction. Vanessa noticed immediately. And for the first time all night, her confident smile started cracking. By the time everyone returned inside, the mood around the Christmas table had completely changed. Earlier, Ethan had been the joke. Now half the family kept staring at him like he'd secretly landed a spaceship in the driveway. Vanessa noticed every second of it. She forced a smile while aggressively refilling wine glasses. Well, she said loudly, I guess even a broken clock can fix a car twice a day. Ethan sat down calmly. That sentence hurt my brain. Grandma Ruth pointed her fork at Vanessa. Careful, sweetheart. Your jealousy's showing through the Botox. Grandma! What? I'm festive. Damien barely reacted. He was too busy scrolling rapidly through files on his tablet, his expression growing more serious every few seconds. Lyria sat beside Ethan now, unusually close. You truly repaired that system without formal training? She asked softly. Ethan shrugged while stealing another dinner roll. I failed community college twice. Once because of grades. Second time because the teacher caught me rebuilding vending machines for beer money. To Ethan's surprise, Lyria laughed openly. Not polite laughter. Real laughter. And it was honestly beautiful. Vanessa immediately noticed. Oh please, she snapped. You're acting like he's some misunderstood genius. Ethan can barely organize his own life. True, Ethan admitted. One time I lost my truck for 3 days. You parked it behind your garage. Grandma Ruth reminded him. Exactly. Criminal mastermind behavior. The table laughed again, except Vanessa. Her smile kept tightening every time Damien looked impressed by Ethan. Trying to regain control, Vanessa leaned back dramatically. You know what Ethan's real talent is? Wasting potential. He had a marriage, a business, opportunities, and somehow turned all of it into a garage apartment and expired ketchup packets. That one landed harder. The room quieted slightly. Ethan's smirk faded just a little, though he tried hiding it by taking a drink. Lyria noticed immediately. So your marriage ended because of failure? She asked carefully. Ethan shrugged again, but this time slower. Ended because people eventually get tired of struggling. For a second, the comedy disappeared beneath something honest. Damien looked up from his tablet. That's not what your records say. Vanessa blinked. What? Damien stared directly at Ethan now. You sold your repair business to pay for your ex-wife's medical treatments. The room went silent. Even the Christmas music suddenly switched to some painfully soft piano version of Jingle Bells that made the silence worse. Vanessa laughed nervously. Well, that's still financially irresponsible. Damien didn't smile. Instead, he slowly turned his tablet toward her. What's financially irresponsible? He said calmly. Is falsifying internal performance reviews. Vanessa froze. Ethan frowned slightly. Oh. Damien continued scrolling. At first I thought it was coincidence. But after tonight, I checked several executive reports. His voice became colder. You sabotaged at least 4 coworkers competing for promotions. That's ridiculous. You altered project evaluations. No, I didn't. You redirected funding from failed divisions and blamed junior staff. Vanessa's face lost color. Grandma Ruth slowly poured herself more wine. Oh, this is getting spicy. Damien's eyes narrowed. You also took credit for engineering proposals submitted by 2 employees you later fired. That's corporate politics. Vanessa snapped suddenly. Everybody does that. Not at my company. The room exploded into overlapping voices. One uncle quietly lifted his phone and began recording. Someone accidentally knocked over gravy. Christmas lights blinked peacefully above absolute chaos. Vanessa stood up so fast her chair nearly tipped backward. You are seriously questioning me because my loser brother fixed your car? That loser solved problems our senior engineers couldn't. He's a mechanic. And apparently a better engineer than your entire department. Vanessa looked around desperately for support, but nobody moved. Not even their parents. Lyria finally spoke, calm and elegant. Your brother possesses adaptive mechanical intuition rarely observed even among advanced civilizations. The entire table paused. Ethan blinked slowly. I'm sorry, among what now? Lyria smiled softly. Long story. Vanessa pointed angrily. See? This is insane. You're all acting insane. Damien stood up beside the glowing Christmas tree. No, he said quietly. I'm correcting a mistake. Then he delivered the final blow. Vanessa Cole, effective immediately, your employment with Frost Dynamic Systems is terminated. The room went dead silent. Even Grandma Ruth whispered, Damn. Vanessa stared at him in horror. You can't fire me on Christmas Eve. You should have considered that before sabotaging your own employees. Her face twisted with fury. Then, while storming away dramatically, she stepped directly onto a sheet of wrapping paper near the tree. Her heels flew out from under her. She crashed sideways into a pile of presents with a scream while the family gasped. Ethan immediately stood up. Vanessa, you okay? For the first time all night, genuine concern crossed his face. Lyria watched him carefully. Even after everything, he still cared. And somehow, that made her look at him with even more admiration than before. The house stayed awkwardly quiet after Vanessa locked herself upstairs. Only the soft hum of Christmas music and the crackling fireplace filled the room now. Half-eaten desserts sat abandoned on plates while relatives pretended not to enjoy the drama they would absolutely gossip about for the next 10 years. Grandma Ruth slowly sipped wine. Best Christmas ever, she announced proudly. Nobody argued. Damien loosened the collar of his sweater and looked toward Ethan. For the first time all evening, the billionaire CEO actually seemed uncomfortable. I owe you an apology. Ethan leaned back in his chair. That makes 2 of us. I owe your car one too. To Ethan's surprise, Damien laughed. Then his expression turned serious again. I judged you too quickly tonight. Happens a lot. No, Damien admitted. Usually I'm better at reading people. Grandma Ruth snorted. You dated Vanessa? Clearly not. Damien accepted that hit with painful silence. Lyria quietly stood beside Ethan near the window, while snow drifted outside in soft white waves. Her silver necklace glowed faintly again beneath the Christmas lights. Damien placed his tablet on the table. My company builds advanced transportation systems. Officially, we're an automotive corporation. He paused. Unofficially, we work with technology far beyond public knowledge. Ethan pointed casually toward Lyria. Yeah, I started suspecting that around the glowing jewelry and science fiction engine. Lyria smiled slightly. Damien continued. Our best engineers couldn't stabilize those hybrid systems. But you solved the issue in minutes using a butter knife. To be fair, Ethan replied, it was a quality butter knife. I'm serious. So am I. Cheap silverware bends under pressure. One uncle nearly choked laughing into his eggnog. Damien shook his head in disbelief before sliding a digital contract across the table. 6-figure salary. Full benefits. Private research access. You'd oversee mechanical development for every experimental prototype we produce. The room went silent again. Even Ethan stared. That number real? Yes. That's enough money to buy name-brand ketchup. Damien nodded. And far more than that. Ethan looked down at the contract for several seconds before slowly pushing it back. No. Everyone froze. Damien blinked. No. I like my garage. You could change your life. I already rebuilt my life once. Ethan shrugged lightly. Took years. Something in Damien's expression shifted then. Respect. Real respect. Lyria stepped closer beside Ethan. You value freedom more than status. Status sounds exhausting. It is, Damien muttered immediately. Grandma Ruth pointed at him. See? Depression in a turtleneck. For the first time all night, Damien genuinely smiled without forcing it. Outside, the snowstorm had softened, leaving the driveway glowing under Christmas lights. Ethan finally stepped onto the porch for fresh air, exhaling clouds into the freezing night. A moment later, Lyria joined him. For several seconds neither spoke. Then she quietly said, You are unusual for a human. That's the nicest insult I've heard all year. She laughed softly before turning toward him. My people study civilizations through technological behavior. Most species become dependent on systems. Predictable. Structured. Her silver eyes reflected the snowfall. Humans improvise. Constantly. Ethan stared at her. My people? Lyria hesitated only briefly. Then the faint glow beneath her skin became visible for just a second. Subtle silver patterns shimmered near her neck before fading again. Ethan blinked twice. Huh. That response is calmer than expected. Well, he admitted. After tonight I figured either aliens were real or Grandma put vodka in the gravy again. She did, Lyria confirmed. That explains a lot. They both laughed quietly together while snow drifted around them. Lyria stepped closer. Your mechanical intuition is extremely rare, she said softly. Even among advanced worlds. Ethan rubbed the back of his neck awkwardly. So my dating life got so bad I skipped straight to aliens? Her smile widened. Then she kissed him. Warm despite the freezing air. Inside the house, Grandma Ruth spotted them through the window and smacked the table happily. About time somebody in this family got an upgrade. Back inside, Damien announced he was reopening investigations into every employee Vanessa sabotaged. Several wrongfully fired workers would get their jobs back before New Year's. As for Ethan, he eventually agreed to a compromise. Not a corporate office. Not a suit. Independent consultant work only. Flexible hours. And he kept his garage. 3 months later, futuristic engines filled Ethan's repair shop while Lyria worked beside him beneath glowing alien machinery and tangled human tools. Somehow the combination worked perfectly. The rebuilt sports car occasionally visited for diagnostics. Unfortunately, its AI had developed a new personality glitch. Every time Ethan entered the garage, the car cheerfully announced, Greetings, Supreme Monkey Mechanic. Ethan sighed every single time. Grandma Ruth almost crashed into a wall laughing whenever she heard it.